Okay, how's it going, everybody? So we're going to read How Servility to Reaction is Blended with Playing at Democracy by Lenin. This is written in June 1915. Let's go ahead and get into this. The cadet collection of articles entitled What Russia Expects of the War, Petrograd 1915, is a very useful book for those wishing to acquaint themselves with the politics of the liberal intelligentsia. The extent to which our cadets and liberals have turned chauvinists is sufficiently known. The present issue of our magazine contains a special article on this question. However, the assembly in one hook of the works of various cadets dealing with a variety of subjects bearing on the war shows concretely the role not only of the Constitutional Democratic Party in present-day imperialist politics, but also of the liberal intelligentsia as a whole. The specific function of such an intelligentsia and of this particular party is to disguise reaction and imperialism with all kinds of democratic phrases, assurances, sophisms, and subterfuges. The principal article in this book, entitled Russia's Territorial Acquisitions, is by Milyukov, the cadet leader. An article like this could not be set forth the actual significance of the present war, as far as Russia is concerned. Her desire to seize Galicia and take part of Poland from Austria and Germany, and Constantinople, the Straits, and Armenia from Turkey. To provide a democratic screen, phrases are pronounced about, quote, Slav unity, end quote. The interest of, quote, small nationalities, end quote, and the quote, menace to European peace, end quote, presented by Germany. Only in passing, almost casually as it were, does Milyukov blurt out the truth in one of his sentences. Quote, to unite Eastern Galicia with Russia has long been the aim of Russian political party, which has the backing of one of the political parties in Galicia, the so-called Moscowphiles, end quote. Exactly. The Russian party referred to is the most reactionary in Russia, that of Purishkevich and Company, a party of the feudalist-minded landowners led by Tsarism. This, quote, party, Tsarism, the Purishkeviches, and the rest have long been intriguing both in Galicia and Armenia, etc., spending millions on bribing the Moscowphiles, stopping at no crime to achieve the lofty aim of uniting Eastern Galicia with Russia. War is a continuation of the politics of this party. The war has been useful in having brushed aside all conventions, torn away all veils. Let the people see the full truth with their own eyes. Preservation of the Tsarist monarchy means the need to sacrifice millions of lives and thousands of millions of the people's money so as to enslave other nations. In practice, it is these policies that have been backed and served by the Constitutional Democratic Party. The truth is unpalatable to the liberal intellectual who considers himself humane, freedom-loving, and democratic, and is deeply indignant at the, quote, calumny, end quote, that asserts he is a servant to the Purishkeviches. The war, however, has shown this calumny to be the most obvious truth. Let us cast a glance at other articles in the book. Quote, our future can be happy and bright only when international politics rest on a foundation of justice. Faith in life and its value will at the same time be the triumph of peace. Russian women, and with them all thinking humanity, end quote. Hope that, quote, when peace is concluded, all the belligerent states will simultaneously sign a pact according to which all international misunderstandings, parentheses, what a word, as if has happened among states were merely misunderstandings, in parentheses, shall be settled by arbitration, end quote. Quote, Russian women who represent the people will carry into the people the ideas of Christian love and the brotherhood of nations, end quote. Here the censor has deleted 1 line and a half, apparently humanitarian expressions such as liberty, equality, and fraternity. Those who know that the writer of these lines can least of all be suspected of nationalism do not need to be persuaded that the ideas propounded here have nothing whatsoever in common with any kind of national exclusiveness. Only now do we really and actually feel that in modern wars we are threatened not by the loss of colonies, however precious, or by failure to free other nations, but by disintegration of the state itself, end quote. Read and give thought to how it is being done. Learn how an allegedly democratic party conducts its politics, i.e. leads the masses. To serve the class of the Purishkeviches, one must, at the decisive moments of history, at times when the aims of that class are to be achieved by war, help that class, or no resistance to the war. At the same time, one must console the people, the masses, and democracy with fine words such as justice, peace, national liberation, settling international conflicts by arbitration, and brotherhood of nations, liberty, reforms, democracy, universal suffrage, etc. So he says that sarcastically because he says one must console the, quote, the people, knowing that they always say that they're talking to the people, that when instead they're really talking to, the people who pay them to start wars, and to tell the people, hey, we're going to spend all of your production and send all of your children off to war, and you just have to deal with it. And we're going to spend all of our money doing that, and, nothing's ever going to come of it, but we will have all this money spent on, our defense contracts that we all get to pocket. So let's go ahead and get back into this. Sorry. With fine words, justice, peace, national liberation, settling international conflicts by arbitration, the brotherhood of nations, liberty, reforms, democracy, universal suffrage, etc. In doing so, one must beat one's breast in token of sincerity, aver, and swear that, quote, we can at least of all be suspected of nationalism, end quote. That our ideas have nothing whatsoever in common, quote, nothing whatsoever in common with any kind of national exclusiveness, end quote. And that we are only fighting against, quote, disintegration of the state, end quote. That is how it is being done. That is how the liberal intellectuals make politics. The liberal labor politicians are behaving essentially in exactly the same way, but in a different environment and in a slightly modified form. These range from Nasha Zarya, who teaches the people and the proletariat to offer no resistance to the war, continuing with Nasha Diallo, which identifies itself with the views of Messrs. Potrasov and company, and Plekhanov, in which reprints without a single dissenting remark similar ideas of Aksarad. Continuing further with Simkovsky, who battles in Naše Slovo and in Izvestia of the organizing committee against disintegration, to Chaidze's group, the organizing committee in the Bund, who are fighting tooth and nail against a, quote, split, with the Naše Diallo group. Moreover, they all stand for the brotherhood of the workers, peace, internationalism, and whatever you please. They will sign whatever you wish. They will renounce nationalism millions of times, and on the single and, quote, minor condition that, quote, unity should not be surrendered with that Russian political group which alone of the entire company has some weight in a journal and newspaper, have been teaching the workers opportunism, nationalism, and non-resistance to the war. That is how it is being done. Okay, that's how servility to reaction is blended with playing at democracy. So basically some fake democracy, some democracy that only profits the few instead of serves the people, which makes it not a democracy at all. So yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. I was saying that at the end. That wasn't Lenin. That's just what I feel. That's just what me saying that. So, if y'all want to follow me online, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, Medium, all of these are Marxist. You could hit me up there. Y'all have a great day. Dodada Goy.